excellent defensively, and so we know we have tremendous respect for this group. We know what it's going to take, and those games, you use them as inventory, like what Gerard was just asking. But every single play and every single game is its unique own entity, and we got to be able to handle that accordingly.
All right, I lied. It was just Sean McVay, but he's very entertaining. Dan, how can the Rams offense attack this Seahawks defense?
Well, I think we've talked about this Rams offense in 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight end. And I think it's the place where they are most comfortable getting creative. So what is that 13? So we've talked about it this year. There's that 1 back behind, 3 tight ends. Now, a couple of things that stand out. This is the last time they played. Remember, no Devontae Adams. So this is Mayfield up top. And so as a defense, you're sitting there going, well, 3 tight ends. Here comes run game, right? Devontae, no Puka Nacua in the game. And when they go with that ball fake, look at everybody on this defense just run after the run. Here comes this deep sail. You secure the edge. And look at all the space. I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. But because of that presentation and the run fake, you have the middle of the field completely vacated, easy, explosive completion. I want to see Sean McVay. Does he keep Mayfield there? Does he put Puka there? Will that change the reaction of the defense? There's that 13 personnel again, but now Puka's in the game. The tight ends are in a little bit more of those traditional setups. This is where the creativity comes in because Sean loves to run play action or a little bit of flea flicker. And so as a defense, Seattle knows in this look, you're either getting run or some of those chunk explosive in-breakers off play action. Look at the depth that they play with. Then Sean goes, well, if you're going to play with so much depth, and I'm going to get 15 to 20 yards of separation at the line of scrimmage. They love the screen game. They love the tight end screen game. How does Seattle handle that? Because then Sean goes, all right, here comes that 13 personnel, the 3 tight ends. Puka's up top. Ferg is down as a wide receiver, at least alignment-wise. I just showed you the tight end screen. Now here comes the ball fake. It's not going to be the screen. This time, they're going to lift that coverage. Maybe it's a little bit lower, right? The vision a little bit lower. And here comes the big in-breaker. And so this is an offense in LA that really hasn't been one that's been wildly creative this year. But I do think, let alone the personnel matchup it gives Seattle when it comes to those 3 tight ends, I do believe where they are right now, this is when Sean McVay feels his most creative, and I can give you a bunch of different looks post-snap from the same stuff pre-snap.
Dan, the Rams have run 361 plays with 3 or more tight ends on the field this season. That's over 200 more than the next closest team this season.
It's a huge part of it.
They love it. All right, you want to race back to the desk?
Go.
Let's see who's faster.
Close.
Okay, wait.
Close.
But we have to talk about this tweet, so it's unfair, Dan. Dan beat me by a lot. Whatever. Here's Baker Mayfield being petty, and I love it. There were some fireworks. Whoa. He responded to a reporter who said that he and new Falcons coach Kevin Stefanski failed in Cleveland. Failed, quote, is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. It's worth noting that it wasn't actually Kevin Stefanski that said that, but either way, Jeff, you have covered Baker for years in Tampa. What did you think of his comment?
First of all, he's never called me pal, thank God, because I think I would cry. Because being called pal is just, that just hurts.
Yeah,
listen, this is classic Baker Mayfield. I remember talking to somebody at the Bucs building when things were going well. And I was like, man, everybody must be in a good mood. He's like, oh no, when things are going well, that's when Baker comes in and just completely manufactures something to be pissed off about. Like it'll be just ridiculous and minuscule, and he'll find a way to be upset. This, on the other hand, does feel big to him. And by the way, it's awesome that they do in fact play twice a year. He has already made it clear how he feels about the Carolina Panthers for throwing him out like trash. And now we have another team in the division. So if nothing else, I would say that I'm here for it, and I would guess that you guys are too.
Oh, we are.
I think people kind of forget, like, what happened, like, where is this animosity coming from? And it's hard to point to a specific singular event that triggered all of this. I just think that people have to remember that during the final year in which Baker Mayfield was a Cleveland Brown, right, there was some personality misfits between him and Kevin Stefanski. And, of course, the team made a gigantic, one of the biggest trades and certainly one of the biggest failures in NFL history by trading for Deshaun Watson to take Baker Mayfield's job. So this was not something that just, like, it wasn't a singular singular moment. I think there was maybe a year or multiple years of tension that led to this. I have a take, though, and I was thinking about this a lot last week when we were watching before the Rams and then the Bears game. Where there were some reports that, Sean McVay was perhaps disappointed by some of Ben Johnson's comments in relation to Matt LaFleur. This is great for sports, guys. I respect guys who have respect for each other, but don't we like a little bit of bad blood? Think about some of the greatest rivalries that define our childhoods. There was true hatred there. I'm in for this. If there is true, deep-spirited hatred between Baker Mayfield towards Kevin Stefanski, I don't know if the reciprocal is true or not. It's great for twice a week twice a season next year.
What is that face? Dan likes bad blood.
Hatred.
Okay. Dan, at the root of this, though, Stefanski never found the guy at quarterback in Cleveland. Do you trust?
He had him. It's the guy that
He had him? Okay, right. So he never made it work. Do you trust him to make it work in Atlanta, whether that means working with Michael Penix Jr., Kirk Cousins, I don't know, or bringing somebody else in?
I do. I think Kevin Stefanski's a very good coach. I love both of these guys. I'm with you. I love the fact that there's a little bit of dislike between the two of them. At some point, I guarantee they're going to get together, have a beer, and say, let's move past it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think in Atlanta, and I think Atlanta's a place ripe for winning. I have said this. Kevin Stefanski goes to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins is his starting quarterback. I think they can win 11 games. I truly believe that because of the offensive line, the offensive skill talent, Kirk Cousins' strength, and the style of scheme that Kevin Stefanski, now I would hire Tommy Rees as my offensive coordinator if I was him, to be determined, but I think the scheme is good for that quarterback. There's so much young talent on their defense, and if it's not Kirk Cousins, I think the next question you ask yourself, Atlanta, is because Penix's lack of development and the injury is, can you trade for Mac Jones, or do you believe, I don't, that Ty Simpson of Alabama will fall to you in the second round? I don't think he will. I believe he'll be in the first round, but skill set wise, I do think that would be a good match.
Yeah, just as it relates to Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan was asked about that today. He said, quote, you always listen to people with trade offers. We're also not getting rid of good players, so I'd be very surprised if Mac wasn't around next year. Remember, Mac Jones had to perform in key moments this year when Brock Purdy was hurt.
Someone will move for Mac.
They need to, right? Mac and Malik Willis going to make a lot of money. All right, back to our top story. Bills owner Terry Pegula spoke for the first time today since Sean McDermott's firing, saying he made the decision based on the loss in Denver. Here's more of his explanation.
I did not fire a coach based on a bad officiating decision. If I can take you into that locker room, I felt like we hit the proverbial playoff wall year after year. 13 seconds, missed field goals, the catch. I just sensed in that locker room, where do we go from here? I looked around. First thing I noticed was our quarterback with his head down, crying. I looked at all the other players. I looked at their faces and our coaches. I walked over to Josh. He didn't even acknowledge I was there. I saw the pain in Josh's face at his presser, and I felt his pain. I know we can do better, and I know we will get better.
Okay, looking forward to the Bills coaching search. Adam Schefter reported the Bills plan to interview Commanders Anthony Lynn, Jaguars Grant Udinski, Dolphins Anthony Weaver, Joe Brady, who's already, of course, the OC, and Brian Dable for their head coaching vacancy. Jeff also told us earlier about Lou Anarumo. He'll be part of this process. They're likely to interview some candidates from the teams playing this weekend as well.
Man, you got to be a dog to take that job, though. Woo, the expectations are through the roof.
Okay, so qualification for the next Bills head coach, be a dog.
You better be a dog.
The new college football champion crown mock draft season officially underway. Mel Kiper Jr. joins us to discuss his first mock draft of the year. We'll see if Field agrees.
I'm going Mendoza at 1. We'll find out.
Gotta do it, right?
Way to be risky.
Yeah, I don't think